Good evening. What I like to do is I like to categorize games. I really believe in when you're reviewing something or when you're categorizing something, you're organizing something, you want to be as broad as possible, at least to start. It's just an easy way to start sorting through things so you can dive deeper eventually. But first step is divide into 2 or 3 or 4 categories. That's kind of how I like to approach everything in life. That being said, I think there's 3 types of games. I think there's an A game, a B game, and a C game. An A game, I think, has a measurable way to be beaten. It could have some multiplayer elements, but for the most part, it's a game that has a beginning, middle, and end, has a campaign, has a story, has a checklist, has just a measurable way that you could say, hey, I beat this game. A B game is the opposite of that. It's a game that's designed to be played in perpetuity, just like, I'll facehand this, just played on and on forever and always. A C game is just a game that has a combination of both of those elements. A good example that I like to use, and a game that I've put probably the most amount of hours into, I think all time on any video game I've ever done, is the WWE 2K games. They have a story mode in there. I don't ever finish it or play it. I just play the universe mode. So, C game. It has the elements of you can play it over and over again, do the universe mode, treat it like a Madden or something like a sports sim, and just keep playing season after season, year after year. Or you can do the story mode. There's also online ladders and stuff like that. So that's how I categorize games. I keep it very simple. But anyway, that's A, B, and C. We can get into the 1 through 5 that I do. So originally up top here, I had like all these categories. I had one that was called, I basically did like sports, racing, and then something called MCSS, which is multiplayer, crafting, survival, and live service. Again, that's where the ABC game thing came in. I just wanted to clean things up, make it simpler. This whole site, I dove into it, and my whole thing is just clearing out a giant backlog I've amassed. A combination of ADHD and then just indecisiveness, and I don't know. I'm difficult to understand and explain as a person, but I really was like, all right, I just want to get through all these games. I mean, I have stacks of PlayStation 2 and 3 and N64 and all these classic games. I fancied myself a collector as COVID kicked off. I've since backed off of it, but now I have all these games I need to play. And then just the library on my PlayStation 4 and my Steam library is just insane. It's gotten crazy. I'm a sale hunter. I love it. I love when Gaben blesses us on those quarterly sales. I always take advantage, and it's just gotten out of hand. So you can see I have 279 games backlogged currently. Because there's been plenty of games that I've put like 40, 50 hours into. I've tried to complete, and like I get right up to the end, and I can't. And I can't bring myself to say that I completed it and catalog it and review it. So I'm working on that. Games like Half-Life 1, 2, Breath of the Wild. I am currently on and I have been on the last level of those games for years. I mean, like 7 years. So I prefer when you catch me out there reviewing things. I'm a 5-star, 5 out of 5 type. Call it a 5 scale. I'm a 5 scale reviewer. I was inspired to use this by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. I'm not inspired by the way he uses his own scale, but by the way he has described it. For Dave, I just liked, again, I think 5 is great when you stick to your system. It's a point you in the right direction type of scale, It's like, what's the difference between a 4 and a 5? Nothing really, unless you want to pick it apart. Dave Meltzer does the quarter stars in his reviews. By the way, I'm not being specific. Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer, he reviews wrestling matches, professional wrestling matches, and he rates them out of 5. But what drives me nuts is that he uses quarter stars, so he can rate something like 4 3/4 stars or 4.5 stars, and on occasion he breaks his scale. There was a 6-star match That drives me up a wall. It is, because it's not a proper scale. Then you kind of break your scale. You affect the context of everything that's come before it and will come after it. So the concept of that 5-star scale, I think it's great. The way I like to critique things, it comes from a Dave Meltzer type. But the way I catalog them comes from a video game donkey type. Mainly 2 of his reviews that I watched. One of them was the Red Dead Redemption review, and another one was the first God of War, the PS4 reboot. I would have, and on my scale, if we actually go and look at those ones, I could pull them up right now. I'm typing around all of my liquids. Red, 5 out of 5. God of War, 5 out of 5 for both, and a considerable amount of hours, at least for me. He did not give those games those scores. He gave Red Dead Redemption a 3 out of 5, and he gave God of War a 4. And I remember at the time when I first heard that, I'm like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Are you stupid? Are you not playing these? Do you not understand? But then there was a line in the Red Dead Redemption review, and I didn't hear it the first couple of times that I had watched it. But he basically says, a 3 out of 5 means it's worth your money. It's worth full price. He goes on to explain why the game didn't really do it for him. And if you watch enough Donkey, you understand he loves platformers. He likes, I don't want to speak for the guy, but again, platformers, shiny, happy things. And he even has a video. In that video, he talks about it. He talks about, I can't remember the one dude's name, Armand White, I think. But he talks about how I think it's important for readers to be aware that, reviewers are informed by their taste as well as their perceived objectivity. But you need to understand that there's a bias to every reviewer, to every person reviewing or being critical on something, that they have a personal bias. As much as they want to try to say, I'm really looking at this from a neutral standpoint. It's impossible to be neutral. You could attempt to be neutral, and that's where good review comes in. It's in the attempt. It's in the noble effort. That line of Donkey saying, look, 3 out of 5, it's worth your money. It's worth full price. They asked for $59.99, sometimes $69.99, depending on the version. They asked for the developers ask for that, and we give it to them. I gave it a 5, and I didn't feel like I got ripped off. I feel like, hey, I gave you Rockstar. I gave you $60, 5 out of 5, awesome, worth every penny. Donkey, he gave Rockstar $60. I'm guessing, maybe at a video, but you get the gist of it. Donkey said, here's $60. They gave him a game. He said, hey, it was worth every penny. 3 out of 5. So the way I review things, again, it's based on my scale. I'll just start with a 3. If I give something a 3, it's worth full price and or the full amount of time required to enjoy it. All right? Not every game costs money. Your Fortnites, your Marvel Rivals, my current favorite live service game, they don't cost anything. They're free to play, right? They're still, again, the developers, they're asking for something, whether it's time, whether it's attention, there's still a transaction going on. So I still feel like that applies. Is it worth full price? The full time investment or the full price investment? Again, I'm in the States here. You can tell by all my very American sport apparel things behind me. I live in a capitalistic society. It's just what we have. Everything is compared to that. Was this worth it? So 3 out of 5, it's worth your money. It was worth the time. It was worth the investment. Didn't necessarily knock your socks off, or maybe it did and there was just too many flaws for you to be like, oh, this is a classic. If you're thinking about getting a game, if you're like, oh, I want to I've had Florpy Dorp 2 in my Steam library and my wish list for a long time. I'm just waiting for it to go on sale, or I'm not sure if I have too many games right now. I can't afford Florpy Dorp 2. If I review Florpy Dorp 2 and you trust me and you trust my review style, and I give Florpy Dorp 2 a 3 out of 5, I'm saying to you, go get it. Go get it. You'll have fun. It'll be worth your time. You will be perfectly happy with it. Now, if I give it a 4, that means, hey, you needed to play that. You didn't need to wait for that to go on sale. You should have been had that. You should have been had that. And the line between 3 and 4, for me, that's actually the easiest to determine. And again, it's asking that question. Is a 3 means, yeah, go get it. A 4 means you should have already had it if you've been waiting on it. And then a 5. A 5 for me is explained in one sentence. It's an all-time classic. A 5 defined the genre, expanded upon it, or is just an incredible representation of it.